Hey there, my last two videos were covering the big picture about this war, and they were covering mostly the news from the last week, with rare exceptions. So let's do a quick overview of the actual tactical situation on the map, and then we're going to talk about the stuff that's going on in Crimea. So first and foremost, let's go to Kharkiv, and around Kharkiv we have a very small development around the north part. I'm even gonna make it a little bit closer. So there is this village that's called Udi, and there is now, you can say it's a gray area. It's contested because Russia has been reporting that they've taken it. Ukraine have denied it. So apparently there is some kind of fighting, and some fighting has been reported there for a week or so or more. Then once we go kind of a little bit more towards Slavyansk, the Ukrainian offensive, well, not offensive, but like a small offensive steps that they were taking, right? I didn't tell you this, what you should be looking at, but what we need to look at for is when Ukrainians are going to reach the village of Kamenka. So what we're looking to get if they will be able to reach. Why? Because this area is very difficult area to navigate. Like, Russians have been struggling to get past this area for a long time, and now Ukrainians, as you can see, are also struggling to get in this area. There's very difficult terrain and also the forest, so it's a very nasty place to fight in general, in period. So as you can see, as Russians were having trouble advancing one way, now Ukrainians are having trouble advancing the other way. So the only reason, not the reason, but the only kind of major development that we're looking, if Ukrainians will be able to reach this village of Kamenka. So once some kind of reports are that Ukrainians fighting around Kamenka and Kharkiv Oblast, that's when we need to be aware that something major is developing, because that is threatening Izium right as it's right under Izium, so it's already threatening the city. Okay, around Severodonetsk. So there has been reports in last couple of days that some of the forces have been gathering in the area around Lysychansk and in general in this northern part. So there was a new kind of somewhat of a major push was expected towards this northern part. There was kind of scouting groups in the past couple of days, but it was expected that a more significant push will come. But today we got reports that Ukraine has executed some major strikes in the city of Lysychansk and an area around it, and we know that concentration of forces have been hit, and now there is a lot of dead Russians. So basically it will delay any kind of offensive or operation that was planned at the top here. So right now it's on pause while they're burying the bodies. Russians are continuing their advancement towards Bakhmut slowly. It is not easy for them, and usually you can just look at the reports in Ukraine in dailies, and it's when the Russians come to a village, they get 2, 3, 4 times try to advance to the village, suffer casualties, and maybe on the fourth attempt they finally get either partial success or full success. And that's how they're slowly advancing towards Bakhmut. But still, they're still only on the outskirts of Soledar. They're still only the outskirts of Bakhmut, and obviously for them the major point is try to cut essentially this road here that connects Seversk with Bakhmut. This is what they really hope to achieve at some point. On the southern part of this Bakhmut area, this Zaitsevo village, it's not colored here, but we know definitely that it has been taken. So, but the advancement is still going on. Pivnichny is kind of the first semi-medium settlement city type that's going to happen here, and we should expect and see if the Russians will be able to advance here, or they will just go a little bit up. So depending where they will go. Around Avdiivka, so the Ukrainian support has come, and which I've been reporting, and Pisky, unfortunately, it's a very small point of contest, and as far as we're aware, the fighting is basically right now around the end of the city, so we can say that most of the village is controlled by the Russians, but don't get me wrong, the fighting is still extremely intense, but it's a small village, there is very limited number of places essentially to hide, especially because it's fully destroyed. And moreover, we know that Russians have used a lot of their thermobaric weapons, for example, right? So those that are really hard to deal with when you have a very limited place to maneuver. So it's very intense fighting, and the fact that Pisky is still not fully taking, it is just beyond me. But remember, I said that we should be prepared, and I said it maybe like 3 weeks ago or more. Wow. And we know that Russians have been semi-pushed back here, so I wouldn't think that they are being actually pushed back. They've been a little bit stopped and basically halted. I wouldn't expect that Ukrainians will try to continue their offensive and push them back, so we should expect this still to be a hotspot for a while, because this is very close to Donetsk and Makiivka and other cities in Donbass, where Russians can have a lot of weapons stored inside of the essentially city and so on. So supply chain here is very short for the Russians, so they're able to fire a lot of weapons very easily. So this village of Novomikhailivka apparently has been either taken or is still in gray area. So there has been some push from the Russians. So it's unclear by now because it's a recent development. So we need to be aware. But we know that Russians have been strengthening this southern front a little bit. So that is nothing to be, because I think Novomikhailivka was recaptured by the Ukrainians some couple of months ago, right? So it was originally also already captured. If I'm not wrong, correct me if I am wrong in the comments. And while you're in the comments, also like and subscribe and do YouTube stuff. Around Zaporizhia, so I've explained here that we have the triangle that, well, not Vasilivka, sorry, the triangle that I told you about of the concentration of force around Tokmak, Melitopol, and Nerkhotar, and it's still they're kind of gathering, but it seems that they're fully committed to the defense, at least by current reports. And what the currently analysts are expecting, that these forces will not try to push towards Zaporizhia. So that's that. And around Kherson, Kherson is a pain point. So we know that the command has been moving out of the Kherson. There are reports that the morale here is already getting quite low. A lot of the forces that have been moved into Kherson were actually troops that already either suffered casualties. They are mixed troops where mercenaries are mixed in with regular army and with some of mobilized forces. So it's not a homogeneous force. It's a very much a big mix of different types of combatants here. And recently, today, I believe, like this morning or last evening, there was a tried offensive towards the direction of Mykolaiv by the Russian forces, to which Ukrainians answered very severely, and it was even noted that Russians not only failed in this offensive, but suffered really big casualties. That was underscored. So we might expect, so instead, not just they are getting hammered here by the HIMARS system and other weapons systems, but they've tried to do some offensive and then get their nose bleeded. And now we go to the main and most sweet message of the day, which is there has been hit storage depot around Azovsky, or how Russians refer to it, sabotage. We don't have any pictures, we don't have any confirmation about what was the cause of it, but we know that it's been hit, and it's been hit a couple of days after Ukrainians hit the airport around Yevpatoria, around Saki. So, and we also know today was a smaller strike around Simferopol, like the capital city, around the airport. So this was today, this was previously. And there was also a hit around Novofedorovka. This is somewhere here, I assume. So what this tells us is that Ukrainians have found a way, right? We still haven't heard confirmation that Ukrainians have gotten ATACMS long-range missiles. The US is denying it, and it's not completely clear because there is no consistent patterns, right? Because I remember once Ukrainians got the HIMARS operational, they basically started using them as a clockwork. Right now, it's not completely clear whether Ukrainians are having ATACMS or they just found maybe some kind of new drones that have been delivered or developed for them, right? So we don't know exactly how Ukrainians are attacking that yet, but we know now for sure that Ukraine is able to reach into Crimea, and this is obviously causing a lot of panic in the Russian civilian sector because not a lot of them are buying the Russian propaganda. That's actually quite interesting because before it was kind of like, oh yeah, chill. This is like, okay, war, special military operation. Yeah, it's fine. And now there's over 25-kilometer line to get over the Crimean bridge. This is bad. If this is not showing that the Russians are very much scared shitless, that I don't know what is. So there we go. A quick update. What can the attacks on Crimea do? Well, first and foremost, we now know that Ukrainians can attack Crimea. And more importantly, we now see that it doesn't cause a response of a nuclear strike. Well, if anyone was afraid that Russians would nuclear strike as soon as Ukrainians touch Crimea, then, well, surprising absolutely no one. Well, I mean, maybe not no one, because even today I saw some articles on the media where people love to, like they chew on this nuclear, like nuclear topic. We need to kind of discuss it. What if the Russians will do? They just want. Like, Putin is evil, but he's not stupid, he's not suicidal. So I don't expect that nuclear will be part of the equation in this war because, as we all know, Crimea is Ukraine. Slava Ukraini. See you soon.